Coming up tonight, Prime Minister and senior government officials inspect affected areas. More roads and schools open. And UNICEF provides further relief assistance. Good evening, I'm Sandra Asen. Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama began a 4-day visit of flood-affected areas in the Western Division. Last night, he visited the Vunda power plant and was briefed on FEA's restoration plans.
The Fiji Electricity Authority has been working overnight to ensure that normal power services are restored. The Prime Minister and his delegation was also given an on-site tour of the Vunda power plant to get first-hand update on the contingency plans by FEA by Chief Executive Hasmukh Patel. The head of government was also given a thorough briefing on both the operational and logistic status of the work carried out since government had declared the divisional emergency operation. The Prime Minister also reminded the government officials present to provide the available services needed to enable the communities in the division to return life to normalcy. He also stressed the importance of maintaining consistency as the unfavorable weather may bring in more rain and flooding, thus the need to be consistent with government was tasked to do. The Commissioner Western's office was further grateful to all stakeholders both in government and private businesses and NGOs who had assisted in the first and second phase of restoring normalcy in the past 3 weeks.
Relief and rehabilitation works by the National Disaster Management Office and other stakeholders has seen more roads and schools open up. Paradise Tundrau with this report.
As reports from the West pour in, the improved weather condition has seen relief efforts speed up and normalcy is slowly returning to the division following the recent floods. As of this morning, there were 15 evacuation centers still open. A surprising figure, since yesterday afternoon, there were 22 centers open. The Department of National Roads have managed overnight to open 6 feeder roads in the west and 7 in Lambasa, while the MV Vatu Lawa is on its way to Moala to fix the jetty which was damaged by the strong currents. However, despite the efforts of the various stakeholders, some places still need major works, as the bus services in Madhuwanta has only resumed for short trips and none for those living far away from town. On to education. Stagnant water and damage has seen Ba Muslim Primary School close for another extra week, with the classes being shifted to Camille Muslim College and the students being provided bus vouchers for the extra distance they will have to travel. However, all is being done to ensure those affected by the floods get back to their normal life.
Despite sustaining damages to his business as a result of the recent floods, the owner of Wishbone this morning forked out $20,000 for flood victims in the west and the north. Ravindranath handed over the check to the Permanent Secretary, Pio Tikonduandua, at the Prime Minister's office.
It's his business to make money. However, for Ravindranath, the owner of Wishbone and Pizza King restaurants and his 2 outlets in Nandi, helping his fellow citizens in a time of need is more important. For the restaurant owner, seeing his fellow Fijians in need moved him to lend a helping hand.
I thought of, the situation in Nandi and also in Ba and all these things, so I thought I better give something to help the poor. That's the reason actually I've given, this donation. Actually, I've been giving out the donations, stuff like that previously too in the flood, and I thought, well, this is much more, worse than the previous one. So I decided to give a bit better donation this time. See?
The Prime Minister's flood appeal has so far seen businessmen, overseas countries, and even students donate towards assisting those in the flood-ravaged areas.
UNICEF handed over 14,000 water purification tablets, 10,000 packets of protex soap, and 30,000 sachets of oral rehydration salts, with a total value of over $9,000 to the Health Ministry. These items will be delivered to those affected by the floods.
UNICEF is an agency that deals with development of children and response to its country partners during an emergency or state of natural disaster.
And that's the donation today is really to purify the water, to make sure that the water that these communities that have been affected in the west of the country, have access to safe water, especially children, whom UNICEF cares for quite a lot, but whom I know the government of Fiji also cares for quite a lot.
Nadomi says the additional items like protex soaps is to protect them from infections, and in case flood victims get infected, the oral rehydration salts will help them rehydrate quickly.
UNICEF's work involves several tracks, if you like. In emergencies, we are the lead agency in the Pacific for water, sanitation and hygiene. We are the co-lead agency for education. So we are very interested in making sure that the children come back to class quickly so that they don't continue missing out. And we are also the co-lead agency for protection, making sure that the children in such an environment where they have been displaced from their households, they can be protected from abuse, neglect and exploitation.
Receiving the items from the Health Ministry was the National Advisor for Non-Communicable Diseases, Dr. Isimeli Tukana. Tukana says one of the big issues the Health Ministry is worrying about is waterborne diseases.
So it's all about making sure that our people who are affected by the flood remain well through the water source and through general hygiene, and also if they get sick, there's rehydration salt that could replace their body water.
Coming up after the break, decree protecting media outlets implemented, $400,000 for laboratory equipment, and outrigger on the lagoon experiences high occupancy rates.